Our protagonist, Kogarashi, is introduced as he goes on a new adventure in the city. While a couple approach a man, claiming to have seen a faceless person, when the man turns around, he too doesn't have a face, which terrifies the couple. At that moment, the main character appears and punches the faceless person, sending it flying into the distance. He introduces himself as a psychic medium and describes the spirit as a mischievous ghost. The residents are grateful and inform him that he should not stay at the Yuraji Inn because it is haunted. The protagonist tells them that there will be no problem because he has the ability to send any ghost flying with a single blow. Kogarashi takes a bath in the Yuraji Inn after arriving. Suddenly, a woman enters, and upon sensing her presence, our protagonist realizes she is a woman and begins to scream, causing her to scream as well. She levitates and throws barrels at him. He realizes she is a ghost before losing consciousness, but because she is a woman, he cannot hit her. When Kogarashi wakes up, he finds himself lying down and being attended by Chitase, the one in charge of the Yuraji Inn. A woman named Nanko comes at that moment and offers him a drink. Another girl appears from the shadows, indicating that she is in charge of discipline at the place and scolding Nanko for her little clothing. Suddenly, another girl with cat-like mannerisms named Yaya emerges from under the blanket covering, saying that she likes hot places and that's why she was there. The presence of so many beautiful girls perplexes Kogarashi. When they ask in which room he will be staying in, he says room number 4. When he enters his room, he notices the bottom half of a girl sticking out of the wall and begins pulling her legs, realizing she is a ghost. She explains that she was embarrassed and did not want to scare him. When he finally manages to pull her out, she falls and lands on his face, after that introducing herself as Yuna, the ghost of the Yuraji Inn. When they start talking, Yuna asks if he can see her because normal people can only see a white shadow. He tells her that he can, which makes her feel embarrassed. During the night, they stay awake, and he tells her that he has been possessed by ghosts since he was a child, which has caused him a lot of problems. That is why he became a spirit medium in order to eliminate all evil spirits. She responds and thanks him for coming because everyone is afraid of her, and no one wants to talk to her. Suddenly, a little mouse falls and Yuna becomes terrified, causing everything to levitate, including Kogarashi. She throws him out the window into the river. Kogarashi goes out the next day to look for a part-time job. He blushes as he thinks of Yuna on his way back home. Suddenly, he notices something in the distance that concerns him, and he runs towards the inn. Yuna is being exorcised by a monk who promises to send her to heaven. Yuna, on the other hand, objects, saying that she wants to stay because she met a friend and wants to get to know him more. At that moment, Kogarashi shows up and breaks the spell, declaring that he will not let her be exorcised and will help her in ascending. Kogarashi's blow knocks the monk out. He promises Yuna that he will help her so she does not go to hell, and she expresses her joy that someone cares about her through tears. As the monk regains consciousness, Kogarashi tells him to leave. On the next morning, we see Sagiri having breakfast with Nanko. Kogarashi is surprised to find out that they can all see Yuna and suspects that they, too, are ghosts. Shirose appears and offers to give him breakfast. As this conversation progresses, Yaya comes out from under the table in her pants, revealing a cattail, which surprises Kogarashi. Sajiri gets angry and threatens him with a knife, but there is a noise outside. When they look outside, they see the same monk Kogarashi defeated earlier, along with a group of monks ready for a fight. Kogarashi asks the girls to hide while he fights the monks. Sajiri pulls out kunai and attacks, revealing her abilities as a ninja exorcist. Yuna assures Kogarashi that Sagiri is skilled. Nanko is surrounded by monks and reveals her demonic powers by summoning a horn and throw one of the man at the others like bowling balls. It is then revealed that she is a demon's child who grows stronger when she is drunk. Yaya summons a giant cat. Yuna tells that she is possessed by a cat god. Shirose uses her power to bring good news to all of the disciples, causing them to happily abandon their exorcism work. The monk receives good news as well, and they all leave happily. When Yuna and Kogarashi leave the room the next morning, they come across a cat. Kogarashi pet it, thought it's cute, but the kitten resists and escapes, transforming into Yaya. Sajiri gets angry and scolds him. Later, during a meeting, Chirose announces that there has been a request for Kogarashi to leave. However, if he passes the challenge, he can stay, otherwise, he will face punishment. The task is to play ping pong. Yaya teams up with Sagiri and they begin playing. To everyone's surprise, Kogarashi shows his skill and successfully returns the ball. They are on the edge of victory with Yuna's help, but Yuna begins having embarrassing thoughts, activating her power and making everyone levitate, leading them to victory. Sajiri promises she will not kick him out, but Kogarashi slips and accidentally touches her melons, causing Sajiri and Yaya to hit him. Yuna wakes up the next morning and is unable to find Kogarashi. She screams and searches the house until Chirose explains that he went to school's entrance ceremony. In the meantime, at school, Kogarashi is excited about his new school life. Suddenly, Yuna appears behind him, also excited. In class, Yuna curiously lifts up a classmate's skirt, making Kogarashi look bad, and everyone assumes he has powers, causing him to get into trouble. Yuna says that she was only interested in the uniform. The teacher walks in and asks everyone to introduce themselves, and when it's Kogarashi's turn, he says he's a spirit medium and he has a ghost with him right now. Everyone laughs and mocks him, but he pays no attention and continues with the class. Chisaki, the girl with the lifted skirt, approaches him after school and requests to speak with him. She says that what he did was inappropriate, but she wants his help because strange things are happening in her home. He agrees to help her and they go to her house. When they arrive, they notice that her room is full of stuffed animals. Chisaki says that they are possessed, and when Kogarashi tries to hit them to release the spirits, she punches him, thinking he is attacking her stuffed animals. He then tells Yuna to look inside for spirit. When she does, she becomes terrified and makes Kogarashi to levitate, causing him to fall on Chisaki. She thinks that he is a pervert and kicking out him from her house. Later that night, Chisaki is reflecting on what happened when the stuffed animals in her room begin ripping her clothes. Kogarashi enters through the window and puts a stop to the possessed dolls. He takes Chisaki out of her room through the window, recalling the plan made with Yuna earlier, and brings her to the park. There, they come across a mysterious person with a female voice who throws a leaf at them, transforming into a monster that attacks Kogarashi. But he stops it with one punch, and the mysterious person turns out to be a girl. She apologizes and introduces herself as Koyuzu Shigaraki, explaining that she placed leaves on the stuffed animals to study Chisaki and help her learn to behave like a human. Chisaki agrees to help her. Later on, they agree to let Koyuzu stay with the other girls at the Yuraji Inn. On the way to school the next day, Kogarashi meets Chisaki, who thanks him for helping him and gives him cookies. She also thanks Yuna without noticing her presence, which makes Yuna happy. A spirit that eats on human hair is spotted one night. Suddenly, Sajiri appears and throws her kunai at it. After defeating the spirit, she mentions that the job of exorcists is to exorcise cursed spirits. Later at school, Sajiri turns out to be attending the same school as Kogarashi. She approaches him on the rooftop and tells him she wants to assign him as a ninja exorcist to deal with the yukai. After that, she asks Kogarashi to put on the civilian clothes she brought with her and informs him that a yukai monster uses mist to trap the victims, leaving them to devour their pheromone-infused clothing. Sajiri describes that the demon humiliates women and that she is willing to do anything to eliminate him. Kogarashi says they act like a couple in order to attract the yukai. Sajiri accepts reluctantly and grabs his arm. The monster appears unexpectedly, and Sajiri jumps to look for the source of the mist. The demon emerges from the mist. It helps Sajiri to do exorcism, but it drains her energy, and she collapses completely onto Kogarashi. Later, she thanks him, and he tells her that she looks cute in that clothes, which makes her blush. In the next scene, Yaya is seen on roof with the cat god, and Kogarashi yells at her from a distance to come down and eat. When she hears him, she gets up, slips, and falls. Kogarashi runs to help her, but the cat god catches her midair and saves her. Chirose announces at breakfast that she will be going to a hot spring. They agree to take turns cooking. They say their goodbyes happily, until Yaya serves them cat food on the first day. Nako only feeds them junk food on the second day. Yuna cooks on the third day, and the food looks wonderful, but because she can't taste it, it tastes awful because she confuses soy sauce for cola. Sagiri's turn to cook comes on the fourth day, but she only cooks medicinal food, which they refuse to eat due to its horrible smell. On the fifth day, Kogarashi prepares delicious grilled fish. Everyone is astonished, and he tells them that the legendary chef's spirit possessed him to learn cooking. Yaya develops a crush on him. Everyone asks why Yaya follows Kogarashi everywhere, but she remains silent. Yaya has been following him because she wants him to cook the fish again. Later that night, he prepares fish for her again, and she gives it to the cat god, making Yaya and the god both develop affection for Kogarashi. Chisaki approaches Kogarashi at school and begins questioning him about Yuna. Kogarashi tells her that Yuna is right there. Yuna writes on a piece of paper, trying to find a way for them to communicate with each other. Chisaki convinces Yuna to take a photograph in which she appears as a white shadow, but Chisaki adds some filters and improve her appearance. A girl approaches Kogarashi and Yuna as they walk home from school. She mentions that she works for a magazine and that they have an important assignment due the next day. She explains that Nanko's assistant is in the hospital, so he was unable to complete his last task. Kogarashi and the girl decide to help her. They work long hours on the job. Nako then says she needs some reference photos for her manga and asks Kogarashi to come help her, telling the girl to take some photos. She wants more drama, so she asks him to lift her skirt, and they get carried away and touch her until they end up on the bed. Kogarashi notices Nako never drinks alcohol while working. She begins to tell him about her past as an exorcist and how her life changed as a result of a terrible incident. Before becoming a manga artist, she tried to fit in everywhere. After that, they go back to work and complete the assignment. In the next day, we see Chitose cooking breakfast. Kogarashi and Yuna leave for school. After this, Chitose goes into her room and comes out dressed as a middle school student. We discover that she has been dressing up as a middle school student and attending school since last spring. Chitose does well in English, painting, mathematics, and other subjects because she appears to be 13 when she is much older and has already studied all of these subjects. Some boys harass Chitose after school. Kogarashi then appears, scaring the boys away. Luckily, he didn't recognize Chitose. After this, Chitose returns to her usual duties. Yuna and Kogarashi go to a hot spring the next day. Chitose had given them tickets to a hot spring as a gift. Kogarashi tells Yuna that because it is their first date, he will treat her like a princess. They walk into the facility and announce that they have a double ticket. Kogarashi explains that he is with a girl only he can see. Everyone stares at him in fear and confusion. Yuna surprises Kogarashi by wearing a swimsuit. He admits that he has no idea what to do on a first date, so Yuna explains what she wants. Everything appears to be impossible, however, because the hotel only allows couples to participate in certain activities. They decide to go into a water slide together, and Yuna is the first to go down. When she reaches the bottom, her swimsuit tears due to the pressure of the water, and Kogarashi falls behind her. They both fall into the water together, and she becomes embarrassed, levitating him once again. Later that same day, Kogarashi awakens, and they decide to visit the same hotel's hot spring. They are still uncomfortable around each other. Yuna thanks him for making an effort to give her a great first date and expresses her desire to do it again, to which he agrees. In the next scene, two girls on the street approach a man and ask for his help in taking a photograph with her camera. The man believes they are attempting to seduce him, but this is not the case. The man refuses to listen to reason and declares that they are his wives. He tries to carry them away, but before he can, a girl scolds him and hits him on the head. The girl with white hair is Oboro, his retainer, and the perverted man is Genshiro, the black dragon god. Genshiro then notices Yuna with Koyuzu and thinks she might be a good wife. Yuna uses her power to repel him, but he persists because his power is derived from his scales. He dries his soaked clothes. Yuna rejects him once again. Koyuzu yells that she is Kogarashi's wife. Genshiro carries Yuna away through a portal, threatening anyone who follows with a cruel fate. Kogarashi and Sajiri then see Koyuzu crying. Kogarashi decides to rescue Yuna after she tells him what happened. Sajiri, on the other hand, stops him, explaining that the man is a black dragon god and extremely powerful. He won't be able to defeat him on his own. Sajiri and Koyuzu decides to go accompany him. Genshiro says Yuna that she will never be able to escape his magic. However, she shows her refusal and says that she does not want to marry him. As Kogarashi and Sajiri approach the castle, they hide from the guards and make a plan not only to rescue Yuna, but also to ensure that they stay away from her. Once again, Sajiri dresses her ninja clothes, and they hide in a narrow cave, pressed closely together just as a guard passes by. Koyuzu sneezes unexpectedly. The guards see them. Sajiri hits the security guards. They then go for the castle. Kogarashi splits up with Sajiri, who is looking for Yuna. We begin by seeing Kogarashi approaching the castle's main gate. The guards then catch him. Following this, we see Kogarashi imprisoned inside the castle in front of Genshiro. Genshiro asks Kogarashi whether he has kissed Yuna. Kogarashi is surprised and responds, "I haven't," but realizes he can buy some time. He reveals Genshiro that they have done everything except that. Meanwhile, Sajiri and Koyuzu make their way to Yuna's room, where she is surprised to see them. Oboro, however, strikes Sajiri from behind, injuring her before she can be freed. Next we see the room where Kogarashi is being held captive. Oboro enters with Sajiri and Yuna, who are both immobilized, and proposes that Sajiri become one of Genshiro's concubines. With his twisted thoughts, Genshiro accepts Sajiri and asks Kogarashi to give up. Yuna, on the other hand, speaks up and says she will marry Genshiro if he releases her friends. Kogarashi then claims that he bathed with Yuna, which frustrates Genshiro, and he brutally kicks Kogarashi, sending him flying, which would have killed an ordinary person. Surprisingly, Kagurashi rises from the ground and declares that if Genshiro does not release the girls, he will take them by force. Genshiro and his guards laugh at him, but Kagurashi hits him with a blow that knocks him out. Apparently, a powerful medium spirit possessed him once, giving great power to him. As a result of this, Oboro begins to recall. In the flashback, we see baby Genshiro, and his mother asks Oboro to take care for him and strengthen their clan. Back in the present, Kogarashi demands that Sagiri and Yuna be set free, but Oboro objects and attacks Kogarashi. Nanko appears unexpectedly and stops the sword, and also Yaya appears just in time to rescue him. Kogarashi explains that he can force his way into anything and that he is more powerful than any of them. Oboro reluctantly agrees but expresses his doubts that Genshiro will accept it, to which Kagurashi responds with a plan. Genshiro awakens confused. Oboro clarifies that he defeated Kagurashi and the girls ascended to heaven after falling in love with you. Surprisingly, Genshiro accepts it and even tears up for the girls. Everyone has returned home. Later that night, Oboro appears without clothing in Kagurashi's bed. He asks her why she's there, and she says she came to have a strong child with him, which shocks both Yuna and Kogarashi. Chisaki decides to pay a visit to Yuna and Kogarashi at Uraji Inn. Everyone is delighted and surprised by the visitor. Chisaki spends the entire day at the inn, getting to know each of the girls and engaging in conversations with each of them. Chisaki cooks for them as a thank you for their warm welcome, and Yaya enjoys the fish she prepares. Meanwhile, Yuna and Koyuzu make bed for the two of them to share with Chisaki. Later that night, while everyone else is sleeping, Chisaki pretends to sleep. At that moment, Oboro enters the room and tries to seduce Kagurashi again, but he stops her and tells her that he will only do it with the person he loves. Oboro tells him that she will make him fall in love with her. The next day, Chisaki leaves the inn, but she leaves a note for Yuna, warning her not to sleep on top of others while half naked. At school, we can see how everyone in Sagiri's class is excited about the upcoming beach trip, but she is concerned. Her classmate Urara notices this and offers to take her shopping so she doesn't feel embarrassed about her unfeminine appearance. Urara convinces her and asks her to bring Kagurashi as a guest. Sagiri is astonished, but Urara is actually from another ninja clan. Later at home, Sagiri practices how to invite Kagurashi for shopping in her room, and when she tries it for real, she yells at him, but he still agrees. The next day, they meet Sagiri's friend, and Kogurashi expresses his interest in the yukai they will face. They go shopping to try on swimsuits. Sagiri comes from the dressing room wearing a swimsuit that covers almost everything, giving her the appearance of a prisoner. Urara says that Sagiri needs to be more aggressive because they are now in high school. Later that night, at her room, Sagiri stares in the mirror while wearing the chosen swimsuit and feels wonderful. On the way to camp the next day, Yuna starts talking to Chisaki, and they become upset when they hear someone say that ghosts don't exist. When they arrive at the beach, Sagiri decides to swim. When Chisaki, Yuna, and Kagurashi appear with a raft to join her, Sagiri reveals that Urara, her classmate, is also an Exorcist ninja. Soon after, everyone is seen having a good time, and underwater tentacles steal the girls' swimsuits. Kogarashi steps in and begins cutting these tentacles. He dives deeper into the sea, and with a powerful punch causes the yukai to vanish, allowing the girls to fall naked into the water. The plan begins at night, with Yuna tasked with scaring her classmates in the forest. Following that, Sagiri and Urara are supposed to summon a demon for Kagurashi to battle in order to demonstrate his strength. Chisaki's plan, however, takes an unfortunate turn when Yuna becomes scared in the forest. Furthermore, Sagiri and Urara have a heated argument because Urara is determined to test Kagurashi's abilities with her clan's demon Shikigami. During the chaos, Sagiri falls on top of Kagurashi. When it appears that the plan has failed completely, a loud noise comes from the forest. A yukai appears, threatening to devour the two students. Kagurashi comes to help them and confronts the beast. The beast tries to devour both Kagurashi and his arm, but its teeth begin to break. Just as everyone expects Kagurashi to fight, he kneels down and apologizes for breaking the seal, asking everyone else to do the same. The beast realizes that Kagurashi has more power and chooses to return to the seal peacefully rather than fight. His classmates express their gratitude for saving their lives and continue their journey to the camp. The boys want to return to their rooms, but the teachers are keeping an eye on them. Kogarashi comes from the window, with his friend on his shoulder, claiming they have climbed all the way up. Everyone runs for cover when the teacher knocks the door. The teacher then enters the room for inspection. Under the blanket, Kagurashi, Sagiri, Yuna, and Chisaki are all seen hiding. Yuna feels very uncomfortable and begins to move away, but Kogarashi hugs her, making her feel embarrassed. As a result, everyone starts flying. To avoid being seen by the teacher, Kogarashi grabs his friend and jumps out the window. The next day, Kogarashi and Yumina go to an aquarium. Two classmates approach them and want to know if he has invited Shizaki to dance. He denies it, and they leave excited because they believe they have a chance. Kogarashi notices Yuna becoming sad because she thinks he will be dancing with someone else. Kogarashi asks Yuna to dance, making him appear insane to his classmates because they can't see a ghost. The next day, we see their usual wake-up routine in which Kogarashi, as usual, accidentally touches Yuna. She is embarrassed and throws him into the river. Almost all of the girls said goodbyes that morning. Koyuzu will spend the night at Shizaki's house, Sagiri will return to her ninja village, Yayo will attend a festival, and Chirose will stay at another hotel. Nanko receives a phone call informing her that her assistant has a fever. She needs their help finishing a manuscript for this month's issue, so she asks for it and promises to take them to the beach. They go to the beach a few days later, and Nanko says they deserve it for providing the manuscript before the deadline. She talks about a romantic story about that island. Nanko tells the story of a ghost couple who were separated by an accident. The boy died unexpectedly. She was waiting for him and jumped from the cliff to be with him, and she is still waiting for him to pick her up. After listening this, Kogarashi decides to help the ghost by reuniting her with her loved. When they get to the coast, they ask her if she knows where her boyfriend is. She points out that he's on the other side of the highway, but she can't get there because she's stuck here. They find the boyfriend, and he tells them that he didn't approach her out of fear because of his recklessness. She jumps into the sea to save him, and they both die. Kogarashi clarifies that they must reunite or they will become evil spirits. Despite this, the couple is unable to reunite. They then decide that they will force them to meet. Their plan is for both of them to be concerned about each other to the point where they quit the place that binds them and can be together. This works, and they meet. The angry girl begins to hit her boyfriend, but he embraces her, and their souls can finally rest in peace. After witnessing this, Kogarashi realizes that he still hasn't figured out about Yuna. He asks if she could tell him about her past. However, she apologizes and says she can't remember anything, not who she was or how she died. This isn't unusual for Kogarashi because all of the spirits he's encountered have always talked extensively about their lives, but she doesn't. Yuna then tells him that she has no regrets because she has good friends who help her every day. The next morning, Kogarashi has a vivid dream about Yuna being exorcised. It appears to be in the past, and some monks refer to her as an evil spirit. The dream is terrifying, but he then tries to save her by grabbing her. When he realizes this, he wakes up and, as usual, touches Yuna. She throws him out the window again, this time attempting to catch him before he falls into the water. They both end up falling into the water together, holding hands. Kogarashi decides there that he will never let go of her. As the sun sets, Yuna expresses Kogarashi that each day she wakes up next to him brings her so much happiness. In response, Kogarashi makes a heartfelt promise that he will never allow her to become an evil spirit and that he will stay by her side until she finds peace. And that's how the Season 1 comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think about this anime in the comments, and as always leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video.